Gemini, it's not luck or bad luck. There's a karmic lesson behind your relationships. Have you ever wondered why you keep encountering the same type of relationships? Maybe you find yourself asking, why does this always happen to me? It might feel like a pattern you can't break, and you might even start to question your luck. But what if I told you it's not bad luck? It's not about choosing the wrong people or having poor judgment. Instead, what's happening in your relationships is much deeper, and it's connected to a profound, karmic journey that you are on. There is a greater force, a hidden pattern operating behind your connections, and it's been guiding you all along, placing certain people in your path to teach you essential lessons. These relationships, whether they bring you joy, pain, or confusion, are part of your soul's plan to grow and evolve. And until you learn the lessons embedded within these connections, they will continue to recur, bringing you back to the same crossroads. But here's the transformative truth. This cycle isn't punishment, nor is it mere coincidence. It's your spiritual curriculum. As you read this, something deep within you is awakening, a realization that you are not a victim of your relationships, but a student in a cosmic school, learning the art of conscious love. Keep reading to discover the karmic lessons that have shaped your experiences and how embracing them will open the door to healthier, more balanced connections. If you feel ready to step into your true power and break free from past patterns, this video is for you. Subscribe, like, and share to join a growing community of spiritual seekers who are on the path of growth and transformation. Let's uncover the hidden lessons together. Gate 1. Understanding karmic relationships. The lessons your soul is here to learn. Gemini, let's dive into the heart of what's really going on in your relationships. If you've been feeling like you're on a constant loop of the same types of connections, there's a reason. It's not just coincidence, and it's certainly not your fault. What's happening to you is far more profound. It's about karmic lessons, and you've been in training for something truly extraordinary. When I say karmic relationships, I'm referring to those connections that seem to have a force of their own, relationships that come into your life with a deep sense of purpose. These relationships don't just happen by chance. They're part of your soul's growth. Your encounters, whether they're uplifting or painful, all serve a purpose. They are invitations to evolve, to see parts of yourself that you may not have fully understood or even realized were there. Consider the relationships that have shaped you. Perhaps there's that person who taught you the importance of boundaries, or maybe there's someone who helped you discover the depths of your compassion. You've encountered various kinds of people, some who challenge you, some who nurture you, but all are meant to bring out something vital that you need to learn about yourself. You, Gemini, are naturally adaptable, communicative, and open-minded. These qualities make you an incredible partner and friend. However, they also make you prone to giving too much, to sacrificing your needs in favor of others. You have an innate desire to keep the peace, to ensure everyone is happy. But sometimes, in this beautiful act of balancing, you lose yourself. You may allow others to overstep your boundaries, or you might bend too much to maintain harmony, even if it costs you your true peace. This is where your karmic lessons come into play. Your soul is here to learn how to love without losing yourself, to set boundaries without guilt, to understand the delicate balance between loving and respecting yourself while still caring deeply for others. It's not always easy for you, but every time you step into that balance, you are not only teaching others how to respect you, but you're also teaching yourself how to stand strong in your own truth. Reflect for a moment on the types of relationships that have challenged you the most. Have they involved someone who is emotionally unavailable? Maybe you found yourself repeatedly in situations where you felt like you were doing all the work, keeping things together, but never receiving the emotional support you needed. Or perhaps you've experienced relationships where you gave everything, yet received little in return. If these scenarios sound familiar, it's because your soul is asking you to stop and learn. The lesson here is not to be resentful or angry with these people. It's about recognizing what they have shown you about your own needs and desires. You've likely come to a point where you can see the cycle. You've probably asked yourself, why does this always happen to me? The answer lies in the fact that your soul is calling you to learn the art of self-love and balance. You are not supposed to lose yourself in relationships. You're meant to evolve into a version of yourself that can love deeply without sacrificing your true essence. Think about your relationship with trust, Gemini. How much do you trust yourself? How often do you doubt your own instincts in favor of keeping the peace? Do you find yourself asking for permission or waiting for others to approve before making a move? This is a karmic lesson in itself. Trust yourself more. Your intuition is powerful. By learning to trust it fully, you will begin to set healthy boundaries and stop attracting people who drain your energy or make you question your worth. Trusting yourself, your desires, and your needs will allow you to break free from the patterns that have kept you in these karmic cycles. One of the most powerful aspects of these karmic relationships is that they often come into your life to show you where you've been hiding from your true self. These people, whether they're lovers, friends, or even family, are mirrors, reflecting back to you the parts of you that need healing, growth, and transformation. When someone triggers you, instead of responding with frustration or defensiveness, take a step back and ask, what is this person showing me about myself? The gift in every challenge is the opportunity to learn, to evolve, and to choose a different path. Karmic relationships are here to help you step into your personal power, Gemini. They teach you how to set healthy boundaries, trust your inner voice, love without fear, and most importantly, they prepare you for a love that truly aligns with your soul's deepest needs. These lessons may not always be easy, but they are necessary. Every heartbreak, every painful breakup, every intense connection, it's all part of your soul's evolution. You are becoming the expert in conscious relationships, and this wisdom is not just for you. Once you learn these lessons, you become a beacon for others, showing them the path to healthier, more authentic love. So, Gemini, as you reflect on your past relationships, take a moment to honor yourself for the growth you've achieved. You may have faced many challenges, but you've come out stronger each time. And now, as you step into a new chapter, you have the ability to attract the kind of love that reflects your true essence. You are ready. You are prepared. And the universe has set the stage for your transformation. Gate 2, the karmic repetition, how to break free from cycles. Gemini, let's now look deeper into the cycles that seem to repeat themselves in your relationships. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that what's happening to you is some cosmic game of chance, luck, good or bad, beyond your control. But the truth is much more profound. The repetition you've experienced in your relationships, whether it's the same type of person or the same scenario showing up over and over, is not some random occurrence. It's not a result of bad luck or misfortune. It is, in fact, the manifestation of unresolved lessons that your soul is asking you to learn. These patterns often show up in ways that are subtle at first. You may find yourself getting drawn to a certain type of person, perhaps someone who feels familiar, maybe even safe, because they echo someone from your past. Or you might find yourself in relationships where, despite your best efforts, things seem to play out the same way, leaving you with the same disappointment, confusion, or hurt. The truth is that these patterns are not wrong or something to be feared. They are simply there to teach you, to show you the areas where you've been avoiding growth, or perhaps where you haven't yet fully integrated a lesson that's been trying to reach you for some time. So, what's the key to breaking free from these repeating cycles? The answer lies in awareness. Acknowledging that these patterns exist is the first step. For years, you may have told yourself that this time will be different, that you've changed, that you won't fall for the same mistakes. But deep down, if the lesson hasn't been fully learned, if you haven't fully integrated the lesson from the past, the cycle will continue. You might feel like you're stuck in a loop, but let's reframe that for a moment. This is your soul's way of asking you to look deeper, to see what is still lingering beneath the surface that needs your attention. One common pattern that many Libras encounter is the issue of self-sacrifice. You may find yourself constantly giving, bending, and adjusting to accommodate others' needs, while your own desires and needs are pushed to the side. This tendency to please, to avoid conflict, and to keep the peace is deeply ingrained in your nature, Gemini. But here's the thing, it's not sustainable. At some point, the energy you pour out into others will leave you depleted, exhausted, and feeling unseen. When you don't honor your own needs, You open the door for others to take advantage of your good nature. These cycles often teach you that loving yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Do you remember that one relationship, Gemini, where you gave and gave and gave, but it still wasn't enough? Perhaps you kept forgiving, kept accepting, kept compromising because you believed that love meant constantly sacrificing for the other person. If you're honest with yourself, you may have felt empty at the end of it, like you'd poured so much of yourself into someone else, but they never quite returned the favor. This is the cycle your soul is inviting you to break. The lesson is to learn that true love doesn't require self-sacrifice. In fact, real love is about mutual respect, understanding, and supporting each other's growth. By recognizing that you have a right to protect your energy, you start to break free from the pattern of giving without receiving. Another pattern that may emerge is the tendency to attract emotionally unavailable people. For many Libras, this can manifest as falling for someone who is distant, detached, or unwilling to fully commit. You may convince yourself that you can fix them or that they'll change with time. But this, too, is a karmic lesson in disguise. These kinds of relationships challenge you to learn how to love without attachment. They ask you to realize that you can't change or fix anyone. You can only work on yourself. The more you focus on your own growth and self-worth, the less likely you are to attract people who do not value your essence. And when you release the need to save someone, you open yourself up to the possibility of a healthier, more fulfilling connection. Think about a past relationship where you felt that familiar emotional pull. What were you drawn to? Did you believe that if you loved this person enough, they would change, open up, or meet your needs? The truth is that these experiences are meant to teach you about unconditional love, but not for others. The love you are meant to learn through these cycles is first and foremost for yourself. Unconditional love is about accepting yourself, flaws and all, and standing firm in the truth of who you are, regardless of how others respond. When you come from a place of self-love, you no longer need someone else to fulfill you. You become whole on your own, and this shift in energy will allow you to attract healthier relationships moving forward. Another way that these karmic cycles manifest is through the fear of abandonment. Many Libras have deep-seated fears around rejection and being left alone. These fears can cause you to stay in relationships that are toxic or unfulfilling, simply because you don't want to face the possibility of being alone. This fear can keep you trapped in unhealthy dynamics where you compromise your boundaries, ignore red flags, or avoid confronting issues in the relationship because the fear of being alone feels worse. But the truth is, Gemini, that fear is an illusion. The more you face your fears head-on, the more you realize that your value is not tied to the validation or love of another person. You are worthy of love simply because you exist. So, how can you break these patterns? The answer lies in awareness and action. The first step is to acknowledge the cycle and ask yourself the tough questions. What am I really avoiding? What lessons am I not yet ready to learn? Once you've identified these patterns, it's time to make conscious decisions that will break the cycle. Set clear boundaries, trust your intuition, and learn to love yourself fiercely. You no longer have to be at the mercy of the same relationship dynamics. The power to break free lies within you. Gemini, you are on the precipice of something extraordinary. As you start to recognize and understand the karmic lessons behind your relationships, you'll begin to see how much you've already grown. Each lesson, each challenge, has brought you closer to the person you are becoming, a person who is ready for a relationship that reflects your true essence. This is your moment to choose a different path, one where you honor yourself, trust your instincts, and step into a love that is grounded in mutual respect, authenticity, and deep connection. Gate 3. The path to self-love, embracing your true essence. Gemini, let's now dive into the third aspect of your karmic journey, the path to self-love. This is where the heart of your transformation resides, and it's not just about relationships with others, it's about the relationship you have with yourself. For many Libras, self-love is often the hardest lesson to embrace. You've spent so much of your life seeking validation from others, making sure everyone around you feels comfortable and seen, that you may have neglected your own needs and desires. Now, Gemini, the universe is gently, and sometimes not so gently, nudging you toward the realization that true love begins with yourself. In fact, it begins within. The relationships you've attracted so far have been catalysts for your growth. But now, the next stage in your evolution is to shift your focus inward and truly fall in love with the person you see in the mirror. The people around you will only reflect the love you've cultivated for yourself, and that starts with releasing the patterns of self-doubt, fear of rejection, and the idea that you need someone else to complete you. True self-love goes beyond simply feeling good about your appearance or receiving external compliments. It's about truly accepting yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your quirks, and your flaws, and understanding that all of these aspects make you uniquely powerful. There is a sacred beauty in embracing who you truly are, not who you think you should be for others or based on the standards society imposes. When you truly fall in love with yourself, you begin to radiate that energy outward, creating the space for relationships that are built on genuine connection, trust, and respect. One of the most transformative parts of your karmic lesson is learning to set healthy boundaries. For too long, Gemini, you may have allowed people to overstep your boundaries, either out of a desire to please or a fear of conflict. However, in doing so, you've sacrificed your own well-being and self-worth. Self-love demands that you reclaim your boundaries. It means saying no when you need to. It means standing firm in your decisions. And it means protecting your energy from anything or anyone that doesn't align with your highest self. Think about the moments when you felt drained, hurt, or taken for granted. Those are the times when you allowed your boundaries to be violated. Self-love means that you learn to protect your emotional space, even if it means disappointing others. The most loving thing you can do for those around you is to show them how to respect you by first respecting yourself. When you hold firm to your boundaries, you invite others to do the same, creating relationships that are more balanced and harmonious. Another critical part of self-love, Gemini, is learning to forgive yourself. Many times, you may have carried guilt or shame for things that happened in the past, mistakes you made, actions you regret, or times when you felt you didn't measure up. It's essential to understand that you are not defined by your past actions. Your mistakes don't diminish your worth. They are simply stepping stones on your path to growth. It's time to release the guilt that no longer serves you and embrace the truth that you are worthy of love, happiness, and fulfillment, just as you are. Let go of any self-criticism or self-judgment. When you look at yourself in the mirror, try to see the person who has faced challenges, who has overcome heartache, and who continues to grow with every experience. That person deserves love, kindness, and compassion, not only from others but from you as well. Be gentle with yourself, Gemini. You are doing the best you can with the tools you've been given, and that is enough. You are now at a point where you must shift your focus from searching for love to creating love within yourself. The more love you cultivate internally, the more you'll attract externally. Imagine the power of a Gemini who is fully confident in their own worth, who doesn't need validation from others to feel whole. This is the version of yourself you are becoming. And once you've learned to love yourself unconditionally, you will never again settle for relationships that make you feel less than or unimportant. Self-love is also about honoring your needs. You've spent so much time focusing on others' needs that you may have forgotten about your own. What do you truly want, Gemini? What does your soul long for? Your heart knows the answers. The challenge is giving yourself permission to honor those desires. It might mean taking time for yourself, setting aside moments for rest, or stepping away from relationships or commitments that drain you. The key to unlocking the future you desire lies in your ability to prioritize your happiness and well-being without guilt or fear. Start by checking in with yourself regularly. How do I feel? What do I need right now? Honor your inner wisdom and intuition. You've spent so long nurturing the world around you. Now it's time to nurture yourself. Gemini, you've been on a powerful journey of self-discovery, and as you continue to embrace your authentic self, you will create relationships that are deep, fulfilling, and based on mutual respect. Self-love is not selfish. It is the foundation for all your other relationships. It's the key to breaking free from karmic cycles and attracting the love that reflects who you are at your core. Are you ready to fully embrace your worth, Gemini? to stop looking for someone to complete you and instead become complete within yourself. The more you love yourself, the more you will attract others who see you for who you truly are and love you for it. Self-love is the gateway to your highest potential and the deepest, most authentic connections. Gate 4. Embracing change, a new cycle of relationships. Gemini, now we arrive at the final gate, the deep, transformative journey of embracing change in your relationships. This part of your karmic path is all about shedding old patterns, stepping into new cycles, and understanding that your relationships are not static but dynamic, ever evolving with every shift you make. This is the most important part of your soul's growth, for it marks the moment you stop repeating the same cycles and start creating a life filled with love, freedom, and authenticity. You see, Gemini, relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, are never just about the people we connect with. They are mirrors of our own internal world. Each person who enters your life, each situation that challenges you, each deep connection that arises or fades away is a reflection of your evolving self. And as you move through the various stages of your life, your relationships must evolve as well. It's not about maintaining the same dynamics. It's about growing through the changes and embracing the opportunities that come with them. In the past, you may have struggled with the idea of change. You may have clung to old friendships or relationships because of their familiarity, even when they no longer served your highest good. Gemini, you have a natural tendency to be adaptable, to go with the flow, to wear many hats and wear them well. But this adaptability can sometimes lead you to stay in relationships or situations that no longer align with who you are becoming. And that's okay. We all have our moments where we hold on to what's familiar, even when we know deep down it's time to let go. This is the moment, Gemini, when you are being asked to release the outdated, the unhealthy, and the limiting connections in your life. It's not easy, and it's not painless. Letting go of relationships that have served their purpose, even if they've been a significant part of your life, is an act of courage. It is an act of love for yourself, for your future, and for the people who are waiting to come into your life, those who will honor and align with your true essence. Think about the patterns that keep showing up in your relationships. Are you attracting the same type of person over and over again? Are you finding yourself in similar situations that don't quite feel right, but you don't know how to break the cycle? This is the universe's way of saying, it's time to evolve. These patterns are showing up because there is a part of you that has not fully healed, not fully understood, or not fully embraced the lessons that these experiences are trying to teach you. But Gemini, here's the beautiful truth. When you break free from the karmic chains, when you fully release the emotional baggage that you've been carrying around, the people who are meant for you, those who will see you, accept you, and love you as you are, will begin to manifest in your life. You won't need to chase them. They will come to you.
Why?
Because you are finally ready for them. You have shed the layers that kept you stuck in patterns of the past, and you have opened yourself up to a higher, more evolved form of connection. Your relationships are meant to be a mirror, yes, but also a classroom. And you, Gemini, are the student, the teacher, and the student all over again. In the process of releasing old relationships and embracing new ones, you will find that you start attracting more conscious, more fulfilling connections. These people won't just complete you, they will complement you. They will challenge you, grow with you, and create with you. You'll find relationships that aren't just about comfort or convenience, but about authenticity, respect, and mutual expansion. This is a beautiful transformation, Gemini. A shift from relationships based on the past to relationships based on the future. You're moving from a space of emotional dependence to emotional independence, where your self-worth is no longer tied to external validation, and where the love you give is unconditional and pure, not rooted in need or fear. And here's the key. As you step into these new cycles, you won't just be attracting new people. You will also be evolving the relationships you already have. Whether it's family, friends, or a romantic partner, the energy you're putting into yourself, your self-love, your boundaries, your authenticity, will ripple out and transform these relationships as well. By stepping into your power, you will teach those around you how to love and respect you in the same way. It's also important to remember that change isn't always about the people around you. Sometimes it's about how you show up in the relationship. As you grow, you may find yourself in relationships that no longer feel as aligned as they once did. This can be especially true with friendships that no longer share your values or with relationships that have become stagnant. And that's okay, Gemini. You are allowed to evolve and outgrow the spaces you've once occupied. Let the past go and make room for the future. And so, this final gate is about embracing the full spectrum of change. Let go of the past relationships that no longer serve you and embrace the new cycles that are calling you forward. Be patient with yourself through this transformation. It may not be a sudden shift, but the ripples will soon become waves, and your life will begin to reflect the peace, love, and authenticity you've been cultivating within yourself. Gemini, this is the turning point. The moment where everything starts to align, where your relationships shift from karmic lessons to soulful connections. Don't be afraid to embrace the changes. They are signs of your spiritual maturity and your readiness to create the life you've always desired. Conclusion: embracing your power and purpose. Gemini, as we reach the end of this journey through your karmic lessons, I want you to pause and reflect on the immense transformation that is unfolding within you. The lessons from your past relationships, the soul connections, and the deep introspection have all been guiding you toward this pivotal moment of clarity. Now, you stand at the threshold of something truly extraordinary, a life where you live authentically, embracing love, growth, and change without fear or hesitation. Your relationships have always been mirrors for you, showing you where you needed to heal, where you needed to grow, and where you needed to embrace your true essence. Through each person you've met, each heartbreak you've experienced, and each moment of clarity you've gained, you have been learning how to love more deeply, more consciously, and more freely. The work you've done on yourself is the foundation of the new relationships that will begin to enter your life. Relationships built on mutual respect, love, and shared growth. As you move forward, Gemini, remember that the universe has not been punishing you, it has been preparing you. All those moments of confusion, heartache, and longing have been essential to your growth. They've shaped you into someone who is now ready to embrace relationships that reflect your highest truth. You've learned to navigate your own inner world with grace and wisdom, and now, as you align more deeply with your soul's purpose, you will find that the external world will follow suit. The key to navigating the changes ahead is to trust yourself. Trust the lessons you've learned, trust your intuition, and trust that your capacity for love and connection is limitless. The relationships that are coming into your life now are reflections of the new, empowered version of yourself. They will challenge you, support you, and help you grow in ways you've never imagined. But the most important relationship you will cultivate is the one with yourself. When you fully honor and love yourself, everything else will fall into place. You are not just a passive participant in your relationships anymore, Gemini. You are the architect of your own love story. You have learned to balance your compassionate nature with healthy boundaries. You have cultivated the wisdom to understand that true love is not about completion, but about expansion. It's about the freedom to be who you truly are and to allow others to do the same. As you continue on this path, remember that relationships are not about perfection. They are about growth. The imperfections, the misunderstandings, the challenges, they are all part of the process. Through it all, you are becoming more aligned with your true essence, and the world around you is starting to reflect that. So, Gemini, are you ready to step fully into your power? Are you ready to attract the love and connections you deserve, based not on need or fear, but on the beautiful, radiant truth of who you are? This is your moment. The karmic lessons have been learned, the patterns have been broken, and now, you are free to create the life and the relationships that align with your deepest desires. Trust yourself, love yourself, and always remember, the most powerful relationships are those that reflect your soul's truth, and when you honor that, the universe will always bring you exactly what you need. If this message resonated with you, share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your journey and the lessons you've learned along the way. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wisdom and guidance. Together, we'll continue this beautiful journey of self-discovery, growth, and love.